Okay, so we're gonna start now. First of all, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. So welcome back to the Malaysian Architecture Education Online Series, proudly presented by MASA. So this is our 5th online lecture, which is entitled Architecture Training Through Virtual Reality during a Pandemic. So again, thank you for joining us for today. For those who are new, MASA stands for Malaysia Architecture Student Alliance. So it's a non-profit student committee acting directly under PAM, and it also consists of student representatives from all architecture institutes in Malaysia. So during this time of RMCO, CMCO, MASA, and PAM have decided to launch this online lecture series for students to be more productive and gain more insights. So architect Adrianta is the head of PAM education, and Dr. Zaro is the convener. There'll be more series coming after this, so do keep in touch with us in Instagram and Facebook. Okay, so first of all, my name is Guma, a MASA representative from UCSI University. I'll be your MC for today. Just to introduce about our speaker for today, Sebastian Young, Malaysian-born Chinese, studied in Singapore for his primary and secondary school education. He has spent 8 years in Australia, completing his first 3 years of Bachelor in Architecture in Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT, and received his Master's from Curtin University in Perth. Currently, he's conducting his PhD research in green concrete materials that uses waste car tires to substitute aggregates. So he has over 9 years of lecturing experiences in diploma degree, master degree program in area of interior design and architecture with private universities in Malaysia, namely Lim Kok Wing, University of Tunku Abdul Rahman. So earlier to this, Sebastian Yeow has over 10 years of international experience in architecture and landscape architecture project, working with some of the world-renowned practices in Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Shanghai, China. Benefiting from a strong architecture, landscape, and architecture background, Sebastian's primary role in the building industry was administrative project director, covering all aspects of all in-house administrative, project management, design coordination, and business development. Okay, so I would like to bring our speaker for today. How are you, Sebastian? Yeah?
Hi, how are you?
Hi. All right, cool. I'll pass the sharing to you now.
Okay, just turn off the share screen. I see a familiar face. Hi, hi, Umi. Okay, just look around, see if any familiar face. Okay, all right. Thank you for coming. All right, happy Deepavali. Okay, last night was like the fireworks will go on and on non-stop. Okay. I think without further ado, I'll just carry on with what I'm going to share today. Okay, let me share screen. Share computer sound. Okay. All right. Okay, just give you a bit of background how I came about doing this. Okay, before COVID-19, I always wanted to do something about documenting architecture using a different way. Okay, I think we are not strange to doing so by using digital camera. Right, back in my time, digital camera was a luxury. Okay, so when digital camera became popular and then smartphone became popular, taking photographs of architecture was so much easier. Okay, but I found that during my time when I was training as a junior architect, there was some things that I always had problem with. Okay, because in universities they don't really teach you how to really document architecture for architecture practices. Okay, so just to share with you some of my experience was that I'll be asked by my company, my supervisor, right, to document buildings, right? For example, if you're going to do a fit out. So I spent a few hours in the building taking a photograph Okay, go back, and then show the photograph to my supervisor. And end up, my supervisor will say, hey, did you take a photograph at this angle? Or did you take a photograph of this part of the building? Which often I found that I have to go back in. So this become a repetition at the beginning of my training. So in the first few years, learning to take photographs, to document photographs, using photography techniques to take photographs to document buildings was a big learning curve for me already. Besides drawing, I mean, learn how to detail and all that. Okay. Then eventually, slowly, I kind of bumped myself into 360 camera, right? Having know that Google started to put in this app called Google Map, and then you take this little man and drop in the Google Map, and then you see the area. I was thinking to myself, this is great. If we can do the same. Unfortunately, our smartphone, we can do 360, but not a real 360 where it's like not just in the horizontal, but vertical 360 as well. So it covers, it becomes a sphere. Okay. So I wanted to do this before COVID-19. So I bought myself a 360 camera and started exploring. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy learning that tools firstly. Secondly, to actually getting permission to go to site wasn't easy. So that was the difficult part. And who knows what? We got COVID-19, and then I'm a lecturer teaching in Stephen Abdurrahman, Utah. And what's going to happen to our design studio? We need a project site. How are we going to conduct visitation project site with the students? I'm also teaching construction technology. In some of these, they call it architecture technology or building technology. The next question is that how do you take the students to the site to learn about site construction and all that? So I saw an opportunity I could push for it. So that is when I approached AR Atlanta in Japan. I said, hey, how about let's do this? Okay, let's set a PAM VR channel and let's document as many interesting projects as possible in Malaysia. To start with 𝐾𝐫𝐜𝐡𝐢𝐭𝐞𝐜 first, right? And the objective is so that we can actually share this with students in Malaysia and also around the world. Okay, so that is how we got started. Right. So that is where Ian say, hey, why don't you give a lecture on this? I say, okay, why not? All right, I love to share with you guys. Okay, so in architecture training related to site, the building and site. Okay, now most of you are students. I think one important thing is that learning from other projects is very, very important. You learn the thing that did right and also learn the thing that did not so right. And sometimes even you learn from mistakes. So prison studies, not just Google on the internet, sufficient. Sometimes you actually have to go to site to understand it. To give you an example, let me think, it's been a while now. It was in 2000 and I would say 5 or 6. I think it's about 2005, right? In 2004, Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, part of the terminal collapsed. Okay, it was designed by architect Andrew, the same architect that designed Bird's Nest in Beijing. So it was a big issue. It was such a big issue because at the time the construction was going on. The Beijing Bird's Nest was under construction. They had to put a stop to it, not knowing that what has this architect done with Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, right? So that incident went by and no one quite know what was the issue. So in 2005, I had a chance to travel to Paris and kind of transit at Charles de Gaulle Airport, and found that, hey, this architect is very interesting, but he is the kind of person that pushes the limit to a point that he's actually maybe getting the engineers to bend some rules that are not supposed to be bent. And if I've never been to the site, looking at that, what the architect have done, I would never quite understand what's the possibility of the building failure. Okay, so that is one example. Right? Why person study is more important? It is very important that you don't just look at what's on the internet, because a lot of photos are taken beautifully to just mislead the viewers. But when you actually go to site, you actually see all the nasty things, things that you don't want, the people don't want to show you too. Okay, besides the beautiful things. Okay. Now, the other part of architecture training is, of course, you have to go through a design site. You have to select a site for your design studio. So how do you do it? So now, as we remember, our MCO started in March. For Utah, was quite. I don't use the word lucky, but Utah, when MCO started at that time, we have already took our students to the site. We chosen the site, we took the students there, saw the site. And it was halfway through the semester and the MCO. But second trimester, why we call it a trimester, because Utah has 2 long semester and 1 short semester. So the second trimester, we're in our MCO. We couldn't take students to the site. So how do we do it? The thing is, I go to the site with my 360 camera. You can see this. This is a 360 camera. Okay, it has 2 lenses, one here and one here. Okay, I'll talk further about this. Okay, right. So what I did was that as a lecturer, I go to the site, 360 photos around the site, bring it back, and with help of Google Map, right, present the site to the student, and that was very helpful. Without that, we couldn't actually start this class. Okay. Now, the other thing is, like I said, for construction technology or architecture technology, right? You have to learn about things that's been built and things that are under construction. And even we have students that are going through industrial training or internship, right? So how do you avoid having to do repetition site visit? Can you send fewer people to site and document, and that you can share with others? Of course, some people say we can do it with smartphone, sure, right? But the problem is that sometimes you may not take enough photographs, right? So that is the big hurdle, right? So that brings back to when I first started working in Hong Kong, right? If you know people that work in Hong Kong or Dubai, right? You will hear, you may know that it was quite common at the time, even up to today, right? The production team may not be in the same location. What do I mean by that? Okay. Now, I used to work for this global design company called Collins in Hong Kong. Okay. All our projects our office is in Hong Kong, but our projects all are in China, all around China. But our design team is not in either of these locations. They're in Philippines. Why? Because a lot of Filipino architecture trained Filipinos. They are architects, but they may not have enough jobs in Philippines to sustain. So what they do is that Hong Kong company will go and hire a team of Filipino to set up a production team in Philippines. So at the time, right, I'll be flying from Hong Kong to China all the time, right, to talk to client, visit the site, okay, come back to Hong Kong, and then send all the drawings to Philippines, and then all the drawings will be done in Philippines. But how do we communicate? Okay, maybe most of you are too young to understand what is on the left-hand side. That is actually a webcam, okay? Back then, we don't even have a webcam on the laptop. You have to actually buy a separate webcam. Right? You can do that still. Now you still can do that. But back then, you definitely have to buy a separate webcam. And this is what I do back then. Take the webcam, right? Point it over the drawing using what we call, back then, we started with ICQ and then MSN. Nowadays, you guys, we just use WhatsApp and then maybe WeChat now, right? To communicate with people from China. Back then, it was very, very down to the very basic, okay? So it was a webcam over the drawing, and then we'll be talking with the designer in China, in Philippines, right? And then telling them, hey, you know what? In China, they're driving on the left-hand side and not right-hand side. You guys are driving on the right-hand side. So the direction of traffic of car that you drew is incorrect, okay? So that is how we communicate, right? So same thing now, okay? I'm going to share with you some things that I have to say I'm not professional. I'm still learning, okay? But if you're interested, you can go through the same experience that I'm going through right now, okay? So you see, I'm sharing with you, all right, a photo of a lot of, these are all 360 cameras. There are many, many different types of 360 cameras in the market now. It's actually not something very, what do you call, it's not something so remote to us now. It's almost as easy as buying a smartphone. It's just knowing where to buy them, okay? You go to Shopee, you go to Lazada, okay? You can get them readily available, okay? I got mine from Lazada, both. Well, I got two. One smaller version that I started with, then later. But of course, there are some that is more designed for professional. There's some designed more for beginners, which I'll explain in a minute. Okay, so I can see that this guy is actually my teacher. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. Okay, but I literally learned everything from YouTube from this guy called Ben Clermont from YouTube. Okay, and every time I'll just go and check. Sorry, someone's talking. Sorry. That's okay. All right, so that's how I learned through a lot from him. Okay, now what can you do? All right, so on the left-hand side, you see there's a free app, right? How this app works is actually is designed and developed by Google Earth. Okay, it's a free app that you can readily download on your Android phone or Apple phone, right? Free. Okay, I'll talk a bit more about how to do it. Okay, now the middle one, the one I bought, the first one I bought was the one that attached to my smartphone. Much cheaper, 288, but it's only 2.5K, right? In resolution. And then of course on the right hand side is where I show you just now. It's close to 900 ringgit, but this one is 4K, right? And of course, it's become a bit popular now for people that are using 360 for businesses. They're actually designed to can be attached to the drone. Okay, so they're using this to help with, say, taking site photograph much quicker and faster. Right. So I'm going to show you this how a Google Street View, this is an app on the left hand side, okay, works. If you download, oh, I'm sorry, how come it, oh, so I have to go to a smaller screen, okay, sorry, because I want to open the video, right? But I have to stop first, okay? I stop and then share the video to you guys, okay? Now this app called Google Street View, okay, I turned down the sound because I don't think I want you to get distracted. Okay, this is what I downloaded from YouTube to show you guys how you can download Google Street View and then use it on your smartphone if you don't want to invest onto any equipment at the moment. Okay. Okay. So maybe you want to turn down the volume. Okay, it may be distracting because the guy is speaking in Tamil, I believe. I think it's easier to understand me unless you understand Tamil. Okay, so you download this app called Google Street View, right? Right. And then it this video actually teach you what to do. Okay, the interesting part is that you can use this app to take 360 and eventually contribute to Google Earth, right? So this is part of the idea of the Google Street View, right? So you can actually use the GPS on your phone, on a smartphone, right? This is where you start. Okay, it's very easy app whereby on the smartphone you see this screen, literally this screen. Okay, so what you do is you point the white circle over the orange dot. Okay, one is once you point and both of them meet, you don't have to do any touching. You'll take a photo on its own. Then you go to the next one. Then you go to the next one. Yeah, they keep going, right? So after you have done like one horizontal circle, okay, then you take the bottom, then you take the top, okay? So the idea is that when you end up taking the photograph is taking a photograph of the entire sphere around you, okay? So this is all done through this app called Google Street View. But of course, right, the resolution of the photograph taken, the 360 photograph taken is not very high, as you can see it here. Yeah? Yeah, so this guy is going to take the top as well. Okay. Hang on, my son is talking in the background. Clark, tone down. Sorry, guys. My son is talking with his smartphone. Right. So after you've taken a photograph, 360 photograph, you get upload, right, to Google Earth. If that spot has not been taken, and so you can contribute. Okay. In fact, they have something called like a certified Google Earth contributor or something, right? At one point in time, I believe they said, I'm not sure, you can make money by becoming a certified if they use your 360 photograph. Okay. So this is like, okay, this is like example. Okay. Is it moving? It's not moving. Okay, so but then okay, here you go. Okay, so this is the photograph taken with the amp. Yeah. Okay. Now, look where I stop. I don't know if you can see my cursor. You see how there's a line here, right? Okay. This is what we call a stitch line. Okay. It's unavoidable. That is the problem with 360. Okay. Now with Street View app, Google Street View app, okay, you're going to see a lot of stitch line because it's actually been stitched with multiple photographs, right? But unlike Google Street View, with a 360 camera, there's only 2 stitch line. Yeah. What do I mean by that? Okay, let me show you. The stitch line is created is because, okay, you see there's a camera here and there's a camera here. But the problem is that there's no camera here. So it does is it takes half a sphere and take half a sphere and they stitch 2 together, 2 half sphere. And that is where you get a stitch line, right? Depending on the quality of the 360 camera, okay, some stitch line is not visible, right? It can depend on the camera, it can depend on the lightings, the surrounding lightings and all whatnot, okay? Later you'll see it, okay? Let me continue to share. Okay, now done with this video. Let's go back to share my slides again. Okay. Now this one, right?
Sorry,
Yes.
just interrupt. Is it okay if you pass the host to me, the Zoom host? Yeah, because the previous host disconnected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do I do now? Oh, I have to pass to you.
Yeah, just pass it to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's it. Hang on. Host. How do I pass host to you? I know I've done that before.
In the participants bar, you just right click my name and just pass. Click the more button.
Okay.
And pass.
Make host.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Let's continue. Right. Now I'm going to show you a cheaper version called Intel 360 Air. Okay, you don't have to turn up the volume actually, in fact. I think it's easier to listen to me. Okay, so what it does is that there's this like little globe thing. Again, there's 2 cameras on either side. Okay, 1 on either side. And then you attach to a smartphone, right? The idea is that it uses your smartphone as the storage device, okay? It doesn't store on the device itself, but whatever you take, the 360 photograph you take will be stored on your phone directly, right? Okay. So it's a very small device, but one of the advice is that when you want to use a 360 camera, make sure you protect the camera, the lens, because if the lens gets scratched, you cannot replace them. Then you got to buy a new one, right? Okay. So I'll just show you very quickly. So, right. So you can see that this guy is attached that Insta360 Air to the smartphone, and then you just kind of swap his smartphone, right? You can see the top and bottom. Now, the reason why we want, as architect, we need this is that we're not just looking at the eye level only, but we want to know what is on top and what's on the floor, okay? So this can really help us, right? Okay, very quickly, I'm going to zoom through. Right, done with this one, stop sharing. And I want to go to the next slide. Now, this one is share screen. How come it's still here? Wait. Close this. Okay, let me open another video and I'm going to share screen. Hang on. Okay, can you see the video?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, what you see this guy, this view is called Tiny Planet. Okay, this is this guy is my teacher, Blank Claremont. Yeah, you see the beginning photograph, the two photographs that I use at the cover page on my slide. All right, that is also called Tiny Planet. It is through changing the view of the 360 to create that effect. Right. All right. So now I just want to quickly show you. Okay, so this is the quality of the videos that you'll be expecting if you are using a 4K 360 camera. Okay. Right. So this is this camera. Right. I'm gonna stop sharing this one. I'm gonna go to the next slide. Oops. My PowerPoint just kind of froze. Hang on a minute, guys. You guys still there, right?
Yep.
Hang on. My PowerPoint just froze and said no, it's not responding. Okay, okay, it's responding now. Got scared for a minute there. Okay, I want to open another video, but hang on a minute, huh? Okay, so what can you do? Knowing the hardware, let's talk about the software. Hang on, huh? Somehow some things are not working. I don't know why. Okay, wait,
Sure. Sorry.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
In this video, I'll compare not just 1 or 2, but 15 of the most popular options, both free and paid, as voted by you guys in the...
Now, if you're interested with 360 camera, the other very important thing is the software. All right. Different software give you different ways of getting your job done. Okay. The good thing about this video is actually it shows the basic stuff that as a 360 user, 360 camera user, what is there for us. And the best part is they're all free. You don't even have to pay for them. Okay.
Virtual tour
I'm going to show you some.
The contenders are Pano 2 VR, Matterport, 𝐀𝐫𝐜𝐜𝐡𝐢𝐭, My360, Google value from it, and it's deliver for that hotspots and so on.
I'm going to skip and show you some of the more interesting ones.
The first free software is Google Tour Creator, and this is made by Google, and it allows you to create a super basic virtual tour. So if we click New Tour, we give it a title, we can give it a description and a cover photo and hit Create. The software is you don't actually need your own 360 photos to begin with. You could make a virtual photos that are already uploaded to Google Street View, but it doesn't really help us because we want to create a custom virtual tour using our own images. So we'll hit upload, and this software is about as simple as it gets. You import your photos, you do a basic edit within 30 seconds and you're done. However, you have to upload your photos one by one, which is quite annoying, and you only have the most basic level of customization. We can add audio, we can add a point of interest, and then when you publish your tour, it shows up as a carousel.
Because it's a very long video
throughout your tour. It's easy to use. You just click and drag the elements, and you can actually make a halfway decent tour with VR Experience. Another great feature of VR is they have their own app in the Oculus store, so you can connect your account up in a headset and download and view your tour in virtual reality. This is especially good for 360 video and 3D content. It really comes to life within the VR app, and it's one of the only ones, if not the only one, on this entire list that has its own dedicated VR app. So while I probably wouldn't use VR Experience professionally, I would definitely use it for personal use because it's professional enough, it looks good, it looks like you know what you're doing, and is potentially going to be one of the better platforms to use if you're making a virtual tour made of 360 videos. So definitely it's not great, but it more than does the job for a free beginner software. Next is Marzipano, and this is an interesting one because one of the more common questions I've been getting logos. You just upload your photos. Pano is definitely a great option and one of the top contenders for free virtual tour software. The key feature that I think is both a blessing and a curse is the...
Okay, this basically this some of the free software that you can download and use with a 360 photograph. Okay, I'll show you one very interesting one, which I was quite impressed, especially if you want to build, they call it a doll house, right? A minute. This, yeah. A minute. Okay, let me go to share screen. Okay.
Virtual tour for a real paid client, and thought it'd be the Theta Z1. So today I'll be putting it to the marketing material they need.
Set up for you.
Okay, so this is he's showing you how he takes photograph. Okay, right, with a 360 camera.
Okay, that's the sound of a shot being taken.
Aku habis tu duit abang ni kan. Banyak pakai kan.
And the editing interface. So here we have it. We can go explore 3D space,
Okay,
and
this
straight away it's
okay. You see this?
all
This
the
is called a
photos
doll
together.
house. Okay, hang on. Let me pull that a bit.
Editing interface. So here we have
Watch
it. We can go
carefully.
explore 3D space, and
Okay, you see this? It's not done by SketchUp or any CAD software. It's actually developed using straight through 360 camera. After you take a 360 camera, this software will create this, what they call a doll house.
straight away it's connected all the photos together into our virtual tour. That first viewpoint was really cool. That's what we call a dollhouse, and yeah, it's exactly like a dollhouse. So this gives you an awesome 3D bird's eye viewpoint of the entire space that you can move around like this. It is very addictive, I have to warn you now. This is without a doubt one of the selling points of Matterport, is this unique viewpoint. It's not the only software that can do it, but no question it does one of the better renderings of the dollhouse. Now we just click to go back to the tour. So firstly, up the top left here, we're going to switch from viewing mode.
Okay. Stop showing this. I'm going to show you another one. Okay. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. Okay. So this YouTube actually shows you some of the typical software, editing software.
Video from beginning to end.
Besides the dollhouse I mentioned it. Right, this is what I use actually
Using
for
only your thumbs is pretty damn incredible. Not only can you edit video, but you can add photos into your video sequences. You can do all the basic stuff that a video edit might require. You can add text, stickers, transitions. It's a super helpful app platform you're uploading to.
I'll skip quickly and then go to next one. Okay. So, and the question is, what have I done so far? All right. Hang on, something wrong with my PowerPoint. It's just not reacting fast enough. I think there's something is going to crash very quickly. Okay, so with a blessing from PAM Education Committee and also permission from PAM board members, we set up this called PAM VR channel. Right, it's already been published, and that is on YouTube, and the other one is on Facebook. Okay, I'll show you very quickly what I've done. Hang on, let me set things up a bit. Okay. Okay, let me share screen. Okay. I'm sure you can see my the YouTube channel now. Okay, I'll show you one of the shorter version. Maybe I'll show you this one. Okay, what you just saw is taken with 360, but it's done using editing software. But you cannot do a 360 tour. But you can do so with other editing software, right? If you just kind of stitch them together. Let me bring up to the resolution. This is at 720. Let me bring it up to 1440. That should be already 4K. Okay, 1080 is already 4K. Hey guys, the panning, you can see my little mouse, little hand, right? That is how I control the 360 cam. Okay, so it's a video. At the same time, actually, I'm controlling the viewpoint as I watch. So imagine you are going through the site, okay? But the viewpoint is totally free for you to actually pan and say, oh, okay, that's me. Okay. And if I want to, I can say it was there, right? Fast forward if I want to, but I'm in total control of the viewpoint.
The quality makes it a bit laggy, actually.
Yes, it's the internet. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the internet. Yeah. So I guess you guys understand the idea now, right? I think the whole objective for me to do this is so that it helps me to bring the site to the students, to the audience, right? Instead of us having the risk, the danger if you have to go to site. You may danger the student, you may danger the lecturer. And it's not easy. As a lecturer, I always find it very hard. So try to get permission to bring a group of students go to a project site. The very first thing you're going to ask, how many people is coming? Firstly, secondly, they're going to say, do they have CIDB safety cards? Okay. In fact, they don't like big group of people visiting a site. It's not easy. Okay. So by using 360 camera, this is the phase one of my, if you like, my project. Is document projects in hopefully in Malaysia first. Okay. Then to link up with other universities around the world to share. Like for example, I tell my colleague, if you're teaching history, okay, you're teaching about Western architecture, European architecture. Can you afford to bring all the students to the site to look at, say, Eiffel Tower? Impossible, isn't it? So much limitation because of the cost, the time. Now you only have COVID-19. Okay, what if we bring the site to you through 360? Remember the guy with the goggle? All right, you can print the Google goggle, and it becomes virtual reality. I just have to take a 360, link it right to the system, and put it on the smartphone. Okay, now you can do is you put it on the smartphone, and then you stick it into your VR goggle, and then you can watch it. It can be anywhere. Okay, so that's phase one. Right. Next phase, my project. I just give an insight of my next phase of project. I'm going to work with my team of computer experts in Utah. I want to develop a software whereby you go to a classroom, lecturer can say, put on your goggle, the VR goggle. Let's look at a project. Okay, and the lecturer will take you there. and then you just go through the site visit, right? Either a completed project or project under construction. Okay, that will be phase 2. And there will be a phase 3, which I cannot reveal now until I finish my phase 2 first. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it for my lecture. Any questions you guys want to ask? Feel free. Anything.
Yep. If you guys have any questions, just type it down in the chat, and then we'll bring it up. The softwares you mentioned, is it? Do you have to pay subscription fee, or is it free?
It's free.
It's free.
The software, the software that I look for, they're all free.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
The,
yeah. I guess I will share also the PAM VR channel link to you guys. I suggest that you guys subscribe. Okay, because I'm gonna keep posting. Just give you a sneak preview. Aaron and myself is trying to get me to Merdeka 118 if possible. I told him I want to document Merdeka 118 from now to finish.
oh,
Hopefully, we're working on that.
if you don't mind me asking, the Merdeka 118, when is it due to complete?
It's supposed to complete in 2 years' time or something like that, but I heard it was been postponed because of COVID-19.
Oh, so you documented it since the beginning?
No. I have not gone yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I have not gone yet. I'm asking ARN to get the permission for me to go.
Ah.
Yeah, so I can document it maybe every month until you finish. Hopefully. Or if you guys have any projects that is interesting, right, that we can go document and share with everyone, do let me know. Okay, I'm talking with a couple of architects to get the permission to go and visit. It's not easy now, especially with the CMCO. You know, they are not too willing even for me just to go. I just came back from, you saw the datum gelati. Good thing was that the architect I knew, he was teaching in Utah as well. Say, hey, I want to see your project. He said, come look at this. And I can tell you for a fact that you saw that quick video I did, right? The very short one. For model, it feels that way. But when you're actually on site, it was very, very different. Yeah. Hopefully, if you have a chance, go look at the 360 that I put together. Maybe help you to see better. Okay. So, any questions?
I have another questions.
Yes.
The dollhouse that you've shown, it's very interesting. Is it? Are we able to walk when we created that VR?
Yeah, it's like SketchUp, but it's not. It's like almost like SketchUp, whereby you can put viewpoints. So one click of viewpoint, you move. Click a viewpoint, you move. It's like Google Earth, but it's the interior. Right. The interesting about that software is that it creates the interior for you. All you do is point and shoot, and then transfer the file to the software called Matterport. Right. And the Matterport will put everything together, and then all you have to do next was to link the points together. So it tells you, like, for example, imagine you're in a building. You can go straight to a junction, and then you put viewpoints where either you want to turn left or turn right. Okay, so you put that, then once you link that, then you can do that when you visit the dollhouse. Yeah.
So it's a completely 3D setting, right? So you
yes,
can walk.
yes,
Okay.
but that is only for existing building. That is not for design buildings, unfortunately. Yeah, but it'll be very nice if you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions from the audience? If We'll give probably maybe a few seconds if they have any questions.
Hi.
Yeah.
I was wondering if this is somehow interlinkable to Beam software.
No, it will not be. Not at the moment.
Is it similar to Cloud?
Say again, is it similar to?
Point Cloud.
What cloud?
Point.
Huh? Sorry, you're
Point.
breaking up.
P-O-I-N.
P-O-I-N.
T.
Point.
Point Cloud.
Point cloud. What is point cloud? I never heard of that, sorry. I'm
Point
not
Cloud
familiar
is
with that.
something like a 360 scanning software.
Okay.
Like to do what's
To
that
scan
called?
with what?
Also
I think,
with cameras or somehow with drones.
yeah, it requires, if I'm not mistaken, it requires a very expensive camera, right, to produce like a 3D
Yeah.
setting. Yeah.
That one I'm not familiar with. I'm sure. I have heard. I'm not sure it's true or not. There's a university that my HOD went and visited in China. They are working on a scanner to scan entire building, actual building.
Yeah.
So how they do it, I don't know. Okay, I'm sure there's a way to do so. Okay, I'm sure that maybe someone's working on, say, using a 360 camera attached to, say, a drone, or even a camera attached to a drone, and take the whole image of the building, or you call it scan the building, but you have to scan all around, isn't it? All the way up too. So then produce the actual building. I'm sure someone is working on that. I'm not doing that. It's beyond my ability to do that. Okay.
Thanks for
And
that.
that's more on to the larger scale building, if I'm not mistaken. Like, for example, the highways. I think the highways in Malaysia, the newer ones, and they're constructing now, they're using some sort of like a 3D scanning modeling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using drones as well.
I think my dream is this. My dream is that we are not limited to distance. We're not limited to cost and time. And we can always visit buildings that are not around us. So how do we do it? I think one way is through 360 camera, okay, which is very affordable. Like I say, there's free apps, okay, and as cheap as less than 300 ringgit, a better one which is less than 100 ringgit. I think most of you owns a phone that's more than 1,000 ringgit, right? And this is only 900 ringgit. Now, the beauty of this is that everything is taken on this is actually edited using my phone, not even computer. The 360 clips that you saw is all edited using my phone. And that's how simple it is now. Okay, now why don't we utilize it? And as architecture students, I'm sure you guys often will have to go to site and document. Okay, and my student does the same thing too. When they take a photograph, they leave the bottom out or they leave the top out. Okay, I always tell them, you take a photograph, you always make sure you take the bottom, the middle, and the top. And often students don't do that. But with 360, you don't have a problem. It's a point and shoot. Everything is taken. But of course, the only problem is either you want to be in the shot or not. Okay, it can be included. But the good thing is, again, when it's taken, go back, select the angle you want, right? Download it, got it. And then if your lecturer say, hey, what about at the back? What's at the back? You'll say, okay, wait, I'll show you the back. You just turn the 360 camera around, you got the back. If a lecturer say, what's on the floor? You just point the viewpoint to the floor, you get a floor. Okay, so that's the beauty of 360 camera.
There's one there's one question in the chat. Not really a question, but she near Ranisa. Yeah.
Umi, I know. She's my
You
ex-colleague
wanna
from Lim Kok Wing.
talk with her about the collaboration?
Don't
Near?
worry, she know where to find me. She's my ex-colleague from Lim Kok Wing. She'll call me. I know. You got my number, Umi. Just call me. No problem. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Banyak malat minum. Oh siap banyak minum. Malat minum. Penting.
Is there any more questions? Okay, I think if there's some more questions, we'll call it a day. So thanks again, everyone. Thank you. Sebastian,
again, I suggest you guys to subscribe the Pen VR channel and share it. Please broadcast it because I want more people to know this channel. And then hopefully that we can share information through this channel. Okay?
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining us again for this online lecture. So we will have some more online lecture coming up. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and do keep in touch with us in Masa's Instagram and Facebook. So until the next one, we'll see you next time. Okay, all right, have a nice day.
Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.